Sanbonani, Usipho Sihle Sithole, and I'm back with another video. So today I'm gonna be reacting and commenting to Katlaho's video. Please follow her page, Citizen Concerned. She has some really good information. She does her research. Smart young woman. So let's get right to it. Let's listen what she's saying. So I'll be commenting as she talks.
Remind you to beware of the comrades. I'm Katlego and would appreciate it if you subscribed to our YouTube channel, liked and shared this video with other citizens. A few months ago, we made a video regarding the rand manipulation by the banks, and we were looking forward to seeing the law take its course and these banks paying severely for their criminal activities. We recently came across an article that stated that the state institutions that were involved in providing evidence against the banks failed to do their jobs, and it appears that the case against the banks won't really go anywhere.
To this now, the Competition Appeal Court has thrown out the case against all but 5 of the 28 banks that were accused of colluding to fix the rand in the New York foreign exchange market more than a decade ago.
How pathetic and disappointing. You are an entire state. You have the police, the Competition Commission, the SIU, the NPA. Why would you not ensure that you gather all necessary evidence to make the implicated banks or bank employees pay for their crimes? What message are you sending to corrupt people in the private sector regarding committing crimes in South Africa, regarding the nation's justice system? And generally, in situations like these, most citizens do not look at the government in power and say the government is failing us, failing to hold the banks accountable for their crimes. Instead, they say the private sector is evil, the capitalists are evil, businesses are evil.
Today,
So, can I comment on that before Mr. Malema speak his view? So I think she's right about that. We need to hold the banks accountable. We need to hold everybody accountable. If we are holding everybody accountable, let's hold everybody accountable. I don't see videos about the rand manipulation. I don't see the videos about what happened after the rand has been manipulated, because the evidence is out there. Everybody knows, like, the evidence is out there, but nobody wanna punish them. So, and what majority people in that sector who benefit from that sector are not black South Africans, are not people who are from South Africa. Like, it's the small minority people who benefit from this whole process, from this whole thing, and the rand manipulation is the small. So we need to hold everybody accountable, black, white, our own, because you see our minister is killing our black people in KwaZulu Natal. Our people, they say our people are doing crime. So our minister is doing the job. Nobody says anything about it. We need to hold everybody accountable. We were holding illegal foreigners accountable, right? That's what we're doing, right? We're holding politicians accountable. We've seen, like, corrupt politicians being persecuted, like the minister. We need to hold all these banks. We need to also hold the people that are holding these banks, which happen to be white, most of them, because of when corruption happened in our black politician, they categorize and say black politician are corrupt. African politician, they don't look as individually, like, they don't say that president specifically is corrupt. So because of it happens that most black politician be like that. So it's generalized. So I'm gonna generalize. So which is the most people who they are white. Nobody is holding them accountable. So let's continue with the video.
The banks manipulate the rent. All of you here, no one has ever suggested any radical action against the banks because we are being controlled and captured by capital.
But you know what the truth is? All human beings can be evil, you and I included. And when there are no proper boundaries and policies in place, most people will do whatever it takes to benefit themselves. All people on earth have done one or more bad things in their lives. I mean, if SARS was not doing their jobs, do you think that people would pay their taxes? As it is, even with the strict measures SARS has in place, some people do their best to avoid paying their taxes. Now imagine how much worse things would be if those strict measures did not exist. So, what is my point? The human race has evil people who will commit crimes or do whatever it takes to benefit themselves. In each country, the government must ensure that strict measures are in place in every industry to monitor that citizens and state resources are not being exploited. We pay our taxes for this primary reason. The government is there to do the work the citizens cannot do for themselves, such as holding big, irresponsible, or evil company executives to account. As we have said before, a country is like a family. The citizens are like the children, and the government is like the parents. No matter how cute the children are, every now and then one bullies the other, and it is necessary for the parent to step in to protect the bullied one and discipline the one doing the bullying. Unfortunately, oftentimes irresponsible parents fail to do their job and make us hate each other as children. In South Africa, we are told about how the banks, the mining companies, and people or organizations in various industries are exploiting citizens and the nation's resources. And I always wonder, why is the government allowing them to do so? Why are the parents of the nation allowing some of the children to exploit others? They come out and make speeches as if they're innocent victims who just made these discoveries. But that is not true. They've been aware and chose to be quiet either because the exploiters are giving them kickbacks or because they have simply been too weak, incompetent, and lazy to do their jobs as the parents of the nation. Their job of protecting and disciplining. And I wonder if they will do their job in this Tiger Brands matter.
Okay, before we get into the Tiger brand matter, did you hear what she said? We need to know how these people raise their kids too. Maybe it's just crazy. Maybe she's saying it. I understand she's saying it metaphoric, like if you treat white people like this. So if you ain't got no boundaries with millions of people depending on you, people that might die, how worse are you doing in your house? Are you the man of honor in your house? Are you respected in the house? I know maybe it's not my business. It's not our business to know what these politicians live like in their houses. How they hold their families accountable. How they make sure that there's no favoritism in their family. They treat everybody like they deserve to be treated. If you doing bad thing to me, as a parent, you should punish the one doing the bad thing. Then make him apologize or make her apologize. The same way he humiliated that other person. he the one should get justice is the one that is a victim, and the punishment should go to the one that's a perpetrator. But if they don't do that in their houses, I don't know, maybe these movies speak the truth, because I watch the movies here, South African movies, they show, because movies are a reflection of reality. They just don't fantasize this. Yeah, some of it is part of, making the movie to be nice, but we've seen how these rich people live. We've seen that the people that we don't see behind the scene are not really good people. They smile and throw hands and make you scream because of, they know how to be that, how to be politician, but they're not good people. I'm not saying everybody, you should be perfect, but with great power comes great responsibility. As a man in my house, I know I have a big responsibility in my house. Sometimes, I just need a break, but I realize that, this is my responsibility. I need to stand firm until, to give the impression to my kids and to treat them fairly, so that they know how to be treated fairly, so they know how to treat others fairly, so they can see truth from the false. But if you let other kid bully another kid as a parent, you are a bad parent. That's bad parenting. Because I see other kids, bully other kids, and parents will be like, "I don't beat him." What? Don't beat him. He already slapped the child. So what do you mean don't beat him? You should punish. They should get their punishment first. Know that this is wrong. Which like, if you can light a stove, there's no way that a child will touch there and the stove won't burn. There's no way. Every time he touches the stove, there's no way that the stove the other day doesn't burn, the other days it burns. The stove will always burn. So why he doesn't treat the white people the same? And they banned black businesses in that place in what's that place, in Bloemfontein or in Free State? Yeah, it's in Free State, in Bloemfontein. I'm not sure, where white people banned the boats and the businesses of black people. They say they don't want them there. How the government doesn't, there's nothing a black people have done, like saying no whites are allowed here, we don't want. These people accumulated everything, then they say they don't want who, where, how to do what. We were fighting to have integrated country where we can make businesses wherever we can, where same laws apply to everyone. We see they arresting black people every day for corruption, for everything, for breaching the laws, but I don't see the white people. I don't see them. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't see them there. These people make billions on manipulating the rent in the New York Stock Exchange. They arrest you for 100,000. They'll make you go to court for I don't know how long, just for 2 million. These people affect the life of daily South African, like everyone, not just a specific people. How these people are not held accountable. These people are bullying the other people. How they are not held accountable. So let's go. Let's listen what she's saying.
Big organizations and affected families are calling for Tiger Brands to take responsibility for the 2017-2018 listeriosis outbreak. The outbreak claimed the lives of over 200 people.
Now, during the 2017-18 epidemic, the National Institute for Communicable Diseases verified that the meat processing plant owned by Tiger Brands subsidiary Enterprise Foods in Polokwane had signs of the ST6 genetic variation of Listeria. Now, at the time, over 1,000 cases of listeriosis were confirmed. 218 of those were fatal. Now, of the confirmed cases, 465 were associated with pregnancy.
6 years and still no answers, no accountability from Tiger Brands, as you say?
Quite an emotional, one of the plaintiffs, the main plaintiff, she is a female. She was pregnant at the time when she consumed this polony, and she has given birth to a child who is 6 years old. Her child now has educational and mental challenges, has cerebral palsy. Her child contracted listeriosis at 18 days of age. That was when she found out that she had listeriosis as well. She did not know at the time when she was pregnant that she had contracted listeriosis. When she had given birth, her child was not well. Her child has had 6 stents been put into her brain since the time she was born. She described their health, account, the money that have been spent. They had to sell their home to be able to afford for her child's, ongoing and future, sicknesses that she's going to have. She explained how her child is 6 and going into normal schooling, but cannot do so because she swirls herself. She does not have any confidence. This child has learning difficulties, but also her as the mom. When she was pregnant, she lost blood flow to both her hips. She now needs double hip amputations. She goes through severe pain from this. So what we found now is that in January 2024, that the NICD, through its labs, found that the strain of listeriosis, which was ST6, it's one of the strains that they found in the patients, were also found exclusively in the enterprise facilities that were producing that ready-to-eat polony, which is at the center of this public health outbreak that we know. The polony that was consumed by people that led to them then contracting listeriosis. From what they've seen now, 6 years on, they can almost 90% certainly put the blame at Tiger Brands.
I mean, if there is evidence that citizens lost their lives due to Tiger Brands and some citizens' lives were negatively affected because of Tiger Brands, why are they being allowed to delay the compensation process? They have insurance for things such as these, yet they are dragging the payouts 6 years later. Why? And
Can I add a comment to that? What's happening in South Africa? Another company that's owned by the richest man in South Africa. One of the richest men in South Africa. I still say, and it's not a black person. You know what happened when looting happened in South Africa in 2022, if I'm not mistaken, where like every province they were looting every mall. This company were good to go. Their insurance made sure they came back to life as fast as they could. The man is a billionaire. It's been 6 years. You know why they don't want to compensate? Because they don't want to admit that they are guilty of 200 lives. 200 lives. And I haven't seen a white person who suffered from this. But we're going to see as it happens. I'm not going to make it about race. If it's not about race, it's not about race. Because, that's how it's always portrayed, that black politicians are corrupt. So let's see who is a majority, who done this corruption that is bigger than what the black corruption can ever do, to manipulate the rand first. manipulate the rand and that thing got caught on 10 years later. Now 200 lives. I remember the time they said we should stop buying all these French and all this stuff because of listeriasis, and people were dying, people were hospitalized, you know. Luckily enough, we didn't buy them that month. And our kids eat these things every day to school. Maybe in the morning, sometimes they carry it as a lunch. They just told us out of the blue. Then they just keep quiet. No accountability of what happened to other people. Just that, because if they know, if they start being accountable, then these charges will come. Where are the human rights? The so-called human rights. Where are they? Where are they? They are so like cling to our business when it comes to other things, not when it comes to the lives of South African. Are they for South African or they are against South African? Where are they? So, to me, I think their opinion don't matter. As long as, you guys as a country admit on something that's going to happen. Not everybody is going to admit in the country, but if the majority thinks this is the way forward, like we did in the 94, other people wanted to fight. Other people didn't want to put down their arms because of, I remember even my uncle, when they came back, they said they were still like have that force because of they were ready. Uguti, this is the time we've been waiting for, we've been training for in other countries. Now we all back to South Africa. So let's go. Let's take our land by force, and we're gonna take it. That's why most of them, when these changes happen, they were forced to be gangsters. They started being gangsters. Say it's affirmation repossession, something like that. Affirmative repossession. Yeah, that's the word. They had these AKs. They would just take the money from FG because of they think white people owed them and their government didn't compensate them, and they just were left out of that, and they were prepared to die for this country. And so yeah, let's move on, but that's the point I was trying to raise.
More importantly, why is a government who is meant to hold both the public and private sector accountable?
And the other thing I wanted to say is we are quick to attack the Somalis when they do this. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. If this big company can kill 200 people in one time, and the Somalis could kill 200 people in 2 years, or in 2 years, it's the same thing. Why don't we give Tiger Brand what we give to the Somalis? Because they're committing the same crime. If these big companies can commit the same crime and get away with it, then might as well do it. Then I don't blame the Somalis if the big brand can do us like that. Would you blame them? Then if you don't blame them, or if you just comment or say something about it, or make a video if you are also a content creator, or we need to say something, make this video push this video and share it, like, subscribe, so other people can see it, because we are tired of not holding certain percentage of people accountable. Other certain because they look like this, we don't hold them accountable. We're scared to hold them accountable. They need to feel our wrath. They need to feel the wrath that we're feeling when other black Africans pour drugs in our community. When kidnapping, we should feel the same pain, because of it's changing our day-to-day life, and it's changing our people, and it's affecting every day, and it's killing people. And you see that other child is suffering mentally. So if the boy is suffering mentally, what could he like achieve in life? We don't know. But now he has to suffer. But nobody is holding accountable. And this is a big company. Black people.
Just quiet. Why are they not making a statement regarding this?
This was part of an investigation conducted by the NICD, or the National Institute for Communicable Diseases, as part of their outbreak investigation in 2017 and 2018. It's just the highest form of testing that can be done, and they didn't do it on all of the listeriosis victims that they came across. They only did it on around 300 to establish a sample size and to establish that this particular strain came only out of Tiger Brand's Polokwane facility in the outbreak period. The most concerning aspect of this is that we have so many clients, so many class action members who are in need of desperate and urgent relief. We have mothers who lost children as a result of listeriosis. We have mothers who had children born with severe complications, brain damage, hydrocephalus, cerebral palsy, and all of those children need immediate assistance to enhance the quality of their lives. We're talking about children with severe disabilities that need special assistive care. We're also talking about class members who lost their breadwinner, lost the person who financially provides for the entire family, and are left picking up the pieces from that. We have claimants who cannot walk, cannot talk anymore because of listeriosis, and have been unable to work since then, and need constant medical care. So the longer that this is delayed, the worse these situations become for our claimants.
If spaza shop owners sell rotten or expired goods to kids, the people end up taking matters into their own hands. That is illegal, but when you have a government that simply does not care, that is the result you get. Mob justice becomes rife when the citizens know that the government is a government that just does not do their job. Why is the NPA not doing something? Why are they not using their power to ensure that Tiger Brands is disciplined and the citizens are protected? In the case of the rand manipulation by banks, what happened? What happened? And in most of these cases, evidence has been there.
The strongest case I've ever worked on. We have scientific evidence that demonstrates their responsibility for this outbreak that borders on certainty. It's certainly way stronger than the type of evidence that you would require to demonstrate paternity, because this is genetic evidence we're talking about, or to prove the identity of a rapist in a rape trial. It is evidence beyond any reasonable doubt.
Not only is it right for the government to identify the exploitation of other citizens, whether intentional or otherwise, and also ensure that necessary disciplining and protection follows, but failure to do so gives an opportunity for dictatorial, haphazard leaders to say something that will make the citizens happy today while risking their overall well-being in future. In most cases, the citizens have seen their exploitation. They have seen how their lives were negatively affected, and they have seen that the government is just acting blind and mute regarding matters. So when anyone comes in and says something regarding the matter, the citizens are more likely to support that someone. It's how dangerous people like Julius Malema and Jacob Zuma managed to garner support.
The banks manipulated the rent, made the repayments of your car more expensive, made the repayment of your bond more expensive, made the repayment of your loan more expensive, meaning they got more money than what they're supposed to get.
In this case, I can imagine them say something like this. Hey guys, these politicians only take action against black people. Tiger Brands is white owned. That's why they won't touch it. Whether Tiger Brands is white or not, the fed up citizens will not care.
His Excellency,
So yeah, can I also comment to everything that's been said? Other comment I want to add about South Africa is most white people in South Africa hold other white people accountable, mostly in South Africa, because some of them, they're exposed to things we are not exposed to. They've been dealing with high level of crimes at the international level, which is some of the black people haven't reached. So they are good to crack down. So that's why, South Africa, it's like this. It's hard to separate blacks from whites, from Indian, from colors, because of we hold each other accountable. Like colors hold colors accountable, blacks hold blacks accountable, Indian hold Indian accountable. But I've never lived in a Indian place. I've never been close to them, so I can never talk about them, but they hold each other accountable. You can see the way they live their life, that everybody is living the way everybody lives in their community, because of this is how they group themselves, this is how they go about in life, So the difference is our people, black people, are all over the place, are all over the place. So time to time you need to get him into line, like hold them accountable from time to time. But with others, it happens. But most of their families are involved in their business, in their life, in everything. So everybody is within the community. So even this, you saw that a person who was running this case of Tiger Brands is a white person holding another white person accountable. So that's another thing I wanted to point. So yeah, let's move.
President for Life, Field Marshal Alhaji Dr. Idi Amin. And that's not even the full title Uganda's former president bestowed upon himself. In 1971, Idi Amin ousted his former ally, Milton Obote, in a military coup. Initially, the new leader's arrival was met with jubilation. Soon that changed, as Amin's ruthless brutality became apparent. Over 8 years, the president eliminated any who opposed him. By the end of his reign, around 300,000 civilians had been killed at the hands of a man who came to be known as the Butcher of Uganda.
Hey everybody, it's Proverb here, and I've just written my final exam for what has been an intro.
He could sometimes come to witness the tortures and also participate, because there are some people who he wanted to see really if they have been tortured and killed. That was his passion. He could enjoy seeing people suffer.
For 30 years, the ANC has been silent regarding issues that are close to people's hearts. And the EFF and the MK party are very vocal about them. And so people flock there without considering the methods of these parties, without considering the trustworthiness of these parties, without considering the long-term consequences of the solutions proposed by these parties and leaders. Which is why we need two things as South Africa. One, the parties and leaders in the GNU really need to address issues that citizens are concerned about. And two, parties and citizens need to educate fellow citizens of the dangers of temporary radical solutions.
Amin's presidency was filled with controversial policies, none more so than his decision to expel Uganda's Asian population. Despite making up only 1% of the country, they were responsible for around 20% of the national income.
In the Johannesburg Stock Exchange, the wealth that is directly controlled by black people is less than 2%. The companies that are fully owned by black people are less than 2%.
But Amin didn't see them as beneficial to his nation. In fact, he accused them of being disloyal and sabotaging the economy.
The Uganda still not yet independent. Uganda will be independent after this, my decision, after I want to see that the whole Kampala street is not full of Indians. It must be proper black and administration in those shops is run by the Ugandans.
What is different between 1993 and 2018 and 2018? In actual fact, white people are getting richer, they're getting more comfortable. Those that benefited from colonial conquest, they are still in control of our resources.
No one cares. For 30 years, the inequality, the gap has widened. The rich have become more richer. The poor have become more poorer. And when I say the rich have become more richer, you are thinking of another black person. Whites have become more rich in South Africa than they were during apartheid.
Many had spent their lives building successful businesses. Amin gave them just 3 months to leave. In an instant, an entire community lost everything.
We leave house just like this and we ran away, only one suitcase. We keep our house and so when we come just...
You've left everything behind.
Everything behind.
In conclusion, there are many things that are not going right in South Africa. There are several children, both in the private and public sector, who are exploiting and abusing.
You know, she's saying the good points here. We need a strategic change. That's why, like the radical change, it never helps. In terms of investors, land, and how all this market works, it never works. It will never ever works. For us, in fact, for us, South Africa, for now, as we are, like, the problem is South Africa is at its height because of the whites in South Africa. Blacks are contributing. I'm not taking anything from blacks, but did you hear that the economy is all in the whites? If you think that guy who was caught 100 million, he was caught with peanuts. So we need a change, but we really need a change. If our government wasn't corrupt, the BEE would be a game changer. But the implementation, the corruption made it made the BEE not to work. But let's conclude.
Several children in the general public. The parents, who are the government, cannot pretend to not see what is happening. They need to step up, discipline the parties that need discipline, protect the parties that need protection, and put measures in place that help prevent or easily identify exploitation and abuse. Failure to do so gives opportunity for the Idi Amins of South Africa to be supported and given a chance to do to South Africa what Idi Amin did to Uganda. GNU, the time is now. Take the necessary decisive action.
Now, the way a sentence is structured, you say, we are not calling for the slaughter of white people, at least for now. That means at some future date, we may call for the slaughter of white people. Is that correct?
Let's deal with that at that future date. I don't know what's going to happen.
So you're saying you are not ruling out that in the future you may very well call for the slaughter of white people?
It may not be me.
Could it be you?
It could be me, yes, but it may not be me.
Yes, so it could be you. You could, at some future date, call for the slaughter of white people.
What will necessitate that?
You tell me.
I don't know. Why would I do that?
You've said you could do it in the future, is that correct?
I can't guarantee that I can't do it or I won't do it.
Many of the 80,000 forced to flee ended up in the UK and prospered, but Uganda's economy did not. In the 3 years following their departure, GDP fell 5% and inflation rose rapidly.
The South African government started taking action against extortion and construction mafias. That is good. Let that action extend to all people destroying this country and making it harder for everyone to live a normal life in this country. People like drug dealers, human traffickers, trade unions, smugglers, construction mafias, corrupt politicians, corrupt people in the private sector, corrupt government employees, and many others. These people need to go to the naughty corner and very fast. Prison time. Give them a hammer and let them break big rocks into little rocks. That's it for today. Thank you so much for watching and thank you for all your support in our first year of Citizen Concerned. It really, really means a lot to us. Please keep on sharing the videos far and wide. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel and join our channel membership to support our work.
So shout out to Katlego, Citizen Concern. Shout out to her. So yeah, guys. Overall, I think she had a good breakdown. Everything she said, she raised good points. That's why I follow her. She raises very good points. We don't need those back-minded people who. We have back-minded white people, we have back-minded black people. They're still fighting their own fights. Those white people who are racist and bad, they still, have that entitlement of the past, of being racist, of living in a South Africa whereby it's their rules. And blacks are still, and those old black people who have backwards minded, you don't have to be old to be backward minded. It's those who still take that racism that was perpetuated and still expressing it through talk, to anger, instead of working our people. Make sure we eliminate every aspect that distracts us from looking within, because we can get everything we want if we never ever reflect within. As black people, we can never ever prosper. That goes to every African. I'm not talking about South African. Even the black Americans, they haven't ever reflected. That's the problem. If they can start to reflect, every black person can start to reflect. We've been through so much. If we can reflect just one time, it's done. It's done. That's why we are always distracted by these celebrities doing these funny things, these politicians, If we can self-reflect, just self-reflect, everything, it's a game over. That's what I can tell you. It's a game over. It's a game over. The game is done. So, yeah. Shout out to Katlego and Siposihle. I'm signing out. Black people, I hope you rise. I'm not excluding everyone. I'll always say this. I'm never excluding everyone because I say this because I still respect everyone. I don't care how others present themselves to the world. I present myself like this. So I'll always be clear. I'll never exclude anyone. My aim is to uplift my people so we can get the same respect in this world. I'm inspired by, how other races do when in terms of family, in terms of unity. So I think I can't correct something that's already, I feel like it's already okay. So I'm correcting the thing that's happening in my community that I see that it needs some help. Otherwise, I want a prosperous world for everyone and everyone to love and protect their culture as they wish. If everyone wanna diverse their culture, but I want a world where a black person can regain his self-respect. That's the only thing. That's why I'm mostly about my black people, and the hypocrisy of the media of how, why I bring white people, because in South Africa, why I brought white people when these things happen, like the Tiger brand and because of they are the one having these companies, and they call us out, like, look at these black politicians, they can't take care of the country, they are corrupt, and while they are the ones who are making life difficult for black people. How can you say you are rebuilding the country from people you've been closed in all these sectors, in all the all the money you've been closed, then you have 90% of the money, while the rest of the people have the 10% of the money. The people who are still disadvantaged, and you're still taking more. It's still more for yourself, So we need to address the greediness. It's whether black or white, we need to address it. So thank you. I love you. This is my channel. Let's grow it. Please like, subscribe, share. Send it to other friends and let them send it to other friends, and other friends tell other friends. Let's